Welcome to Mindfulness India Summit podcast series. Mindfulness India Summit is first of its kind and Asia's largest comprehensive summit on mindfulness and emotional intelligence backed by neuroscience. The inaugural two-day summit was held in November 2018 at Mumbai with more than 200 participants, over 30 speakers, industry leaders, and experts in the field as a dialogue on the importance and benefits of mindfulness and emotional intelligence at workplace. These practices are known to build stronger leadership skills, enhanced performance, and overall emotional well-being for the individual and the organization. The series is led by Mr. Manish Behl, founder Mindfulness India Summit and Beyond Mind. Presenting to you an episode from the Leadership and Mindfulness podcast series, Mr. Manish Behl in conversation with Mr. Pete Hamill.
Often people ask how to bring integrity and trust into leadership practices with the teams. Today, let's talk about and understand what is embodied leadership and what it means to be an embodied leader. Embodied leadership involves the way you speak, the language you use, the way you position your body, and the harmony you feel by being fully present with others and your verbal and non-verbal communication with your colleagues. Ultimately, it's about quality of your presence and the way you are around with people. Let me introduce you to our guest for this episode, Mr. Pete Hamill. Pete is consultant and facilitator and coach at Strozzi Institute of Embodied Leadership. He also runs a private practice in London. Pete will help us to understand how embodied leadership works and how it is applicable and useful at our workplace. So let's ask Pete, what is the role of embodied leadership in enhancing leadership presence? Over to you, Pete.
Okay, well, I'll do the one-word answer and then I'll do the longer answer. The one-word answer is practice. Very simple. The longer answer is, part of what we need to do is to start off with a focus on what do we care about as a leader? What do you want to change, to make happen, to create in the world through your leadership? And then you have to look at, based upon that, do I have the capacity to deliver on that? And what qualities, what capabilities do I need to cultivate in order to be able to deliver on that? If I want to be a leader who walks into a room and has people notice me, if I want to be a leader who is able to empathize, if I want to be a leader who is able to stand my ground in the face of conflict, whatever it is, we have to look at what are those qualities. And then we have to get involved in looking at mindful practice. So how do we start to practice the capacity to do something different? And so, the simplest thing that I can say is the cultivation of any of those qualities comes down to a willingness to put ourselves into repeated practice. And that can be difficult because practice is not an instant gratification thing. It takes time. It takes the willingness to go back and continue working at it and developing and cultivating something. Just like learning to play the piano or learning a martial art or whatever it is. And it's the same thing with leadership. We need to be able to put ourselves into repeated practice.
Thank you, Pete, for sharing this wonderful insight. There are very important takeaways from this message given by Pete. Number one, practice is not an instant gratification. One has to do it continuously and be mindful about the practice we need. When you practice embodied leadership, you are able to add value, motivate and bring out best not in yourself but the people around you as well. Embodied leadership also brings clear sense of what drives you forward. It trains you to deal with tough situations at work. We hope these takeaways have given you some understanding of embodied leadership, and it's important in our workplace. We will be back with a new episode every week. Thank you for listening. Hope you have enjoyed this podcast. This is your host and friend Manish Behl signing off. See you again.